Alright, we are live. Let's see. Show sound here. Test, test. Test, test. Cool. Shady Nagy, Tony, Boyan, welcome. Let's see. Today we're going to keep working on this Blazor client for the eShopOnWeb admin. If you aren't familiar with this project, go out to github.net architecture eShopOnWeb. Download a copy. This is a Microsoft reference application with a free ebook that goes with it. You can download as a PDF or read online here. I have it already open here, but I need to pull down my latest. And Shady Nagy's just been nice enough to contribute some here too. So I haven't actually run it with those updates yet, but we're about to. So let's see what we've got. Alright, so in this app, by default, we've got an application core, which is where our domain model lives. And that's got things like our entities for the basket and the order and stuff like that. When you run this app, let's make the web the startup real quick. When you run this app, it's basically an online store. And it looks like this. Alright, so you can filter things on the main site. You've got paging, showing 10 of 12 projects. Go to the next page. You can log in. It's got this account and password here given to you that you can use. Log in with that. And it blows up because why? That's weird. Interesting. I have to make sure SQL Server's set up or something. Usually that works. Not sure what's going on there. And then once you log in, you can add stuff to your cart and check out and stuff. I'll probably need to figure out that connection string problem here in order for this stuff to work. Let's see. No connection can be made. Target machine actively refused it. What am I working on here? Should be SQL local DB right there. And a SQL local DB, which should be right here. That one. And what? Catalog DB and identity, right? There's that. It's not there, is it? I wonder what happened to it. I guess I need to run migrations. John Calloway, welcome. How's it going? Okay, so let's run migrations. This worked last week and I haven't changed anything, so I don't know why it's not running, but let's fix that first off. Alright, so from the web project, if you go out here, if you try and do this yourself and you run into a similar problem, the issue you want to do is one of two things. You can either tell it to just use an in-memory database, and that's fine, and maybe that's what I ought to do. Did I get switched up to running in production mode? Because I think I have a different app setting for development. It doesn't override anything. Alright, so that's not it. But anyway, the thing you need to do is this. So open a command prompt, make sure you've got the global tools for .NET EF installed, and then run this from the web folder. So I'm in the web folder here, and we'll just do these one by one. .NET Restore, should work fine. I don't think we necessarily even need that, but we'll run it. Cool. Alright, now we'll do catalog context. And we'll hope that this works. No database provider has been configured. Update the tool. I thought I did do an update of the tools. Alright, let's do this again. .NET tool install global .NET EF. That's that. Yep. It's already installed. Okay, how do I update it? .NET tool update that. Alright. This won't fix my problem, but I'm just getting rid of a warning. From preview 72316. Alright, that's better. Let's do our database update so it can yell at me again. Shady, did you change any of this? I'm sure you didn't. In the web project? It's still telling me EF Core Tools version is 3.0.0. I just updated it. You guys just watched me update it. That's weird. 3.16. Yeah, that's the latest version. Alright. Unable to resolve service, migrated DB context method, DB context is used. Initialized within memory. Oh, okay. That's obviously a problem. Let's see. I'm running it in debug mode. And in debug mode it should do in development. Alright, let's go check that. That's not a debug mode, that's a development thing. So there's development for IS Express, that's what I'm running in. So my environment should be development. And in development, I should hit configure development services. So we should be in memory. So we shouldn't be trying to hit the database anyway, right? You think I need to run API first or also, Shady? Is that because of the token stuff that we added? I think that's what you're trying to tell me. Alright. I'll finally listen to you. But it's a weird error I'm getting, because it's talking about SQL, not talking about APIs. So we gotta fix that error message if nothing else. Let's just start that from here. So we'll run the API, yes. Alright. Maybe the thing I'm seeing was coming from the API project and bubbling up. Maybe that's what it was. Alright, so that we're going to say is okay. This we're going to try and go away. We're going to try and log in again. And the one change we did just make, that Shady made that I just merged in, is... You're not running anymore, are you? Nope, there you go. Is that when you log in, you not just get a cookie, but you also get a token, which we'll need for single sign-on. So now this is still getting this. Socket exception, so I need to make sure it's hitting the right, configured to hit the right port. So when I ran it this way, it's on 5099, 5098. And what are you trying to connect with? Post async, line 38, auth service. Constants API URL. You think the API is at 44339, but actually it's at 5098 or 5099. So if I make this 5099, maybe that'll work. Okay, let's try this again. Aha, there we go. Cool. Alright, so now we're in the admin page. Nice. Cool. Alright, so we can log out, we can log in. Login takes us here. We probably don't want to always have login take us here, but that's another consideration. But yeah, we can see all of our products. We can edit them, maybe. I haven't tried that yet. So let's try details. That looks good. We can go back to the list. We can edit. Let's say 2 and 2, and if it's Roslyn, I guess that's other. Sounds good. Let's make 852. Save. Is save wired up yet? Save didn't seem to do anything. Okay, I'm not an admin, and that's why I'm getting a 403. So my save is doing what it should do. It's not letting me save it. So if I log out and log in as an admin, then that should give me what I want. It's the same password. Right now I'm an admin. Somewhere it should probably tell me who I am. But now we do 2 and 2 and 2 and save. And I think that let it work. But I have to hit cancel to get rid of this? Yeah, so it worked. And Shady, you did a good job of making it work exactly like the other eShop on Blazor app, which is here. There's an admin tool on this eShop on Blazor application that we're basically porting over to eShopOnWeb. And the way this eShop on Blazor thing works, which I don't like, we're going to fix, is that when you hit save over here on this edit page, it doesn't actually close the window, right? It just saves it. It doesn't do anything else. But we want ours to actually save the thing. So, or no, not just actually save it. Save it and then close the window, right? It should come back to this page, I think. So that'll be the thing we'll need to do. Let's delete something. Let's delete this cup of tea t-shirt. Will that work? Delete. It's gone. Alright, cool. Alright, so some things we probably want to mess with today. Let's start with, when I log in, I probably don't want to go right to the admin page, because normal users need to be able to log in and just manage their cart and buy things. And also, if I'm not an admin, I probably shouldn't be able to get to this whole admin thing. So if I'm just a regular demo user, this whole thing should probably be locked out from that. Which I know isn't how I had it set up as yet, but I think that's the end goal. Let's see if we can create a new thing. Let's create a new Ardalis widget. Some cool thing. It's going to be an Azure memory stick that costs $10. We can't do pictures. Create. And there we go. No picture, but we created it. Nice. Okay, so the first thing I think is, let's go look at what's happening in login. Because the way this is working, if we look at our network here for a second, and we see, let's just look at when we save. Oh, that's interesting. That might be a bug. Login, give me the list. No, that's all right. Okay, that was good. Yeah, all right. Edit this, and here, let's say I want to make this 855 and save. So we should have XHR catalog items right here. This is our post with the 855. If we look at the headers though, we should see that we have a bearer token in place. And so this authorization header is specifying this JOT token, which I can copy, and I can go to jot.io and we can see what's in there. So we hit this debugger and we see that I'm admin at Microsoft.com. I'm in the administrator's role, and here's some dates when this thing is valid. This is not valid before, this is when it expires, this is when it was issued in seconds from Unix epoch. Right, so that is what's letting me securely access the APIs that we're working with. Where is that coming from? Well, in my application, I have local storage, and in local storage, I've stored the auth token. so that I can use it from Blazor WebAssembly. And so we've got some Blazor code that's taking care of storing that in local storage that we'll look at. Alright, so there's a login, or at least there used to be a login here inside of the admin, and you saw it there for just a second, but then it redirected me to this login. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Shady, did you pull that login code out since we don't need it anymore, because we're just going to do it always through the web? Because let's just look at the Blazor client for a sec. Alright, here's the Blazor client and the pages. Yeah, login's still there, but now we don't use login anymore. Where are you taking me here? Let me just close all the things. Let's go back, close that, open that. Alright, so here's the login page. Right, it's not used. So somewhere on here it's probably saying to redirect somewhere, maybe. Navigate to root if logged in. I added this code. Navigate to admin, right? What makes this thing redirect, I wonder? I guess the route is different now, isn't it? Because our list page is /admin. So login is its route would need to be like /admin/login or something. Okay, so this one is literally just calling out to identity account login. Or routing to that, rather. Okay, that's what does it. Cool. So that's the new bit of code that switches us to there. Alright, so then this eventually we want to get rid of. Let's add a to do remove no longer used. Alright. Alright, so how do I make list be locked down to only admins? Because we have attribute based support for this. We're going to do this. No, because we're just getting 403s back. There's nothing in here that's preventing it. Alright, so how do I get this list page not to load if you're not an admin? I need an auth service, perhaps. That's probably the simplest thing. Pull in the auth service and check if you're logged in, just like we do in login. So in here, we call refresh login info and then navigate somewhere else if you're not logged in. Right? So we do something like this to send you away if you're not supposed to be here. Alright, let's go look at web's login, because I know we modified that pretty heavily just now. So under areas, identity, pages, login, here, let's see, when we fetch the page, we just look for model errors, look for a return URL. Otherwise, we're going to go to / theoretically. Okay. But here is where we're redirecting the /admin, which I don't think we want to do unless they happen to be an admin. And even then, they don't need to redirect there automatically. I think they should just have a link to go there. So this should go to the return URL, right? Where's return URL being used? It's there with two-factor auth, but we're not even really using two-factor auth. I think it ought to be here. Let's see what happens if I do that. Keep that old one around, and we'll change this to just be return URL, and let's see what that does. Alright, so we're going to add a link that only admins will see that will let them go to the admin page. But let's find out if we log out now, log back in as admin. We should just go to the home page. That sounds good. Now, if I want to go to my orders, that should require authentication. So log out, log in, hold on. Try and go to my orders here. It should redirect me. So now I've got this return URL that should take me back to my orders. And it does. Alright, so that works the way I want. That's good. I want admin here to take me to admin. That does. Perfect. But I don't want that to show up if I'm not an admin. So let's log out, log in, demo user, and log in. And do you see an admin? You don't. Alright, so that's already there. That works. Okay, so I think that's good. That works. Alright, so I think I'm happy with that change. I'm not sure why that was there that way. Shady, tell me if you had a good reason why that needed to be that way. So otherwise I'm screwing up your stuff. Let's see. We're going to say we updated port of API and we redirect to return URL from login. And that's probably good enough. Yeah, let's commit all that. Okay. I want the admin page not to be accessible at all if you are not an admin. So that's not what I want. Where's my browser? There we go. So let's see what happens if I try and go to /admin from here. Will it let me get there? Yes. Alright, it doesn't show me who I am, so I think it should say who I am, and I think it shouldn't let me get here. So let's have it show me who I am. That'll be an easy one. So in the navigation for Blazor, shared nav menu. If you're logged in, we're going to show this logout button as a nav. Can I also say anything about auth.getUsername? There's a task of string. So can I await right there? Will that actually work? How does that work? Cannot do that right there. Alright. Do I need to do it on uninitialized? Probably. So let's see. Let's go look at this. Uninitialized async. We'll just set a property in the nav menu razor. And it should have an uninitialized async. And we can have a property public string username get set await username, hang on, username equals await auth dot get username, like that. And if that works, then this just becomes at username, which I should probably put in a div or something, but maybe that works by itself. Alright, so let's run that again. And this will probably look ugly, but it should show it. Interesting, it's actually being pulled from local storage. Server-side rendering. Alright, so I can't do that on the server-side rendering. Do I disable server-side rendering? How do I make this run at another time? Right, let's see the login page. This one's got server-side rendering too. Is there a direct auth.username that's already a property on there? And I'm just making this harder? Alright, fine. Too easy. Get rid of that. Let's see what that looks like. I haven't looked too closely at our auth class. Alright, so then we're in. We go to /admin. We're there, and look, there's our beautiful login. Alright, so let's just wrap that in something, or put that somewhere else, maybe up here. With an icon next to it, like a person. That would be not too terrible, right? I'm not very good at design, but we could go up here, button, tag bar, this top row. I think we'll just do another one of these. That's maybe not a nav link. Nav item. What about line number 6? You can put it up there. That's going to get too long though. Try this, see what that looks like. If it's horrible, somebody else can clean it up and make it pretty. Alright, that's still horrible. I want it to be in a box like that. I guess I need the nav link for that, huh? If I click... Ooh, I have a user profile link anyway, don't I? So I can make it a nav link to my user profile. That would make sense. So let's keep the nav link. And let's put that in here. And really, they shouldn't even be here at all if they're not logged in. So I shouldn't even need the if. I'll just take their username directly. Put it right there. Right? Yeah. href. href should be out of here and into whatever the user profile link is, which should be my account. Manage/my-account. Okay. So manage/my-account. Something like that. And I don't need this anymore. There we go. It's got the same icon. We click on that, it goes to my account. Of course, Blazor WebAssembly has no idea. Is that what that is? Can't find that user. Interesting. Here, though, I can go to my account, right? Nope. Okay. Alright, well that's a different problem. That's just an error with the My Account page. So I'll have to figure that out. Let's find an icon for the user that looks like a little stick figure head or something. Class, href, match, class. This is what I want, right? OI home, OI. Where are these classes defined? Sure, Shady, we can do the JS runtime route outside, but it didn't look like I needed to. This looked like it worked just as it was. It's going right to where it needs to go anyway, even though it is out of Blazor. Where do I find a better, or where do I find a list of these OI classes that have icons associated with them? Is that just iconic? Because I just want something that looks like a person. Filter by person. There we go. Person. Hey. Alright, so if I do OI-person, that should work. We'll call that done if that works. Alright, so we're back in here. We can still navigate to admin. And look at that, we got a person with the account info. And logout works. We can log back in. Everything's happy. Alright, cool. That works. Good enough for me. Let's commit that then. So add username to admin, link to my profile, which doesn't work. Alright. Now at some point I'm going to want to add tests for this stuff so that it keeps on working and doesn't break. And then the other thing now is, how do I make it so that a regular user can't get to /admin? I can't use and authenticate on this, can I? Like, I know how to secure the API side of things. I've got that all done. So like when you go to catalog item and you want to create, we have this authorize attribute. Can I use that authorize attribute on Blazor WebAssembly though? I don't think so. I think I just want this entire thing, this whole Blazor admin, to be only for admins. So how do I do that, Shady Niggy? Any idea? I was looking at this last week. Blazor WebAssembly Authentication. This is just from like last week. Alright, so there's authentication package, which we're already using. We're not using OIDC. Token scopes. Alright. There we go. So in the app itself, we can redirect to login. That's easy enough. Let's just do that. So we got an authorize route view. Let me just pull this over to the side. And let's go look at our app. Here's our app.razor. We've got found and not found. So inside of found, we can have an authorize route view. Authorize route view. Alright. So instead of route view, we're going to do found context equals route data. Yeah. Take this block and put it right here. And so this is going to say, take that, do that, that's all good. And if you're not, then we're going to redirect. Cascading authentication state. So this thing also wants to be wrapped in this cascading authentication state around the router. Alright, so really I think I copy paste this whole thing, but Let's do it piecemeal. Like that. Okay, where is this defined? Redirect to login. Your index page needs to have this. I think it might already, but let's find it. My index page should be in here. Yeah. So this is what loads Blazor WebAssembly. And it should have this script block somewhere. Right? Which I don't think you have already. Okay, let's do that. Invalid operation exception. Visual Studio. Okay. Don't die on me, Visual Studio. Alright. Still don't know where redirect to login comes from, so let's see. I think it's going to need this using statement in our imports.razor. So that's going to be over in here. And that's there, which I already have. Right, that's the same as that, yeah. Alright, so that's not it. Not found, redirect to login. What else did I miss? Redirect to login component manages redirecting, and here it is. I have to write it myself. Okay. So take this and throw it into shared. Whole thing. Copy. Okay. So in shared, we're going to add a new Razor component called redirect to login. And we're going to paste in that. Right? Now, app can find that. Alright, that's good. Login display component. We could also use that if we wanted to. Already got that covered. Alright, let's see what this does. Alright, so if you're not authenticated at all, it's going to redirect you to login. But if you are authenticated, it's going to say you don't have access. If you're not authorized. How do I determine that you're authorized or not? I've got to figure that out still. You need RTO use enroll also for admin. Right. Exactly. I've got to tell it what roles are allowed. Alright. Authentication state provider. Registered service of authentication state provider. So somewhere I've got to register that. Authorize route view. So where's this enroll that you're talking about, Shady Naggy? Yeah, but where do I put that? Alright, so what was my error? Can I provide a property for can I provide a value for property authentication state provider? And here, no. Here, he's saying create a custom authentication state provider. Alright, so in WebAssembly, we configure the authentication state provider. So in the program.cs here, we would add a scoped authentication state provider. And there's a built-in one for me. Is there any reason why I can't just use it? Okay. Well, we didn't blow up yet, but we did blow up here. Can I provide this value? Can I provide value on type? There is no registered service. Authentication state provider. There is, I just did it. I'm not trying to do server-side Blazor. So that's not it. Shady says register. Register what, Shady? Okay, in Blazor server you do this, but we're doing Blazor client. Blazor client, in main program CS, we add that, which I just did. Right there. We have an authentication state provider registered, scoped. And it's still going to say it can't find it. That's the right type. Maybe I need to register it in a web project. You may be right, because it's coming from web. Maybe this has something to do with how it's pre-rendering? Yeah, there it is, server pre-rendering. Okay. So maybe I do need that server-side Blazor thing that the other guy had. So if we go here, this should be, that's public API. If we go to the web project, startup.cs, add Blazor local storage. Interesting. This person said services.add server-side Blazor did the trick. So let's see what that does. It sort of worked. Now it's there twice though. That's not what I want. Nope, nope. Don't need that. Yeah, I know, right? There's no product list, but I've got 2 of these. Login doesn't work. Let's see what happens if I log out, log in as an admin. Still double, still no products. And it doesn't know who I am. I don't think the server-side pre-rendering is working for me. I think this is because of how app is set up. This app.razor. It's because I left this route view in. Is why. That was meant to be replaced by this other one. Alright, so let's see what that does. I'm still not sure how to restrict this to only certain roles, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's assume that that was my problem. Alright, we're still in admin. There, that's better. I don't know why I lost who I am and I lost all my products, so that's not great. Let's see if the consoles tell me anything. Oh, all kinds of bad stuff. Cannot instantiate implementation type state provider. Alright, why not? Do I have to have a custom one? I figured maybe you'd let me get away with using a default one. Cannot instantiate. Can't instantiate. That's not it. That's not it either. Alright, did we do this? I thought we did that. Asp Net Core. Alright, so let's see. Components authorization. That's this guy. Okay. Add the namespace. Components authorization to imports razor. We did that. It's right there. Okay. To handle this, a built-in or custom provider is covered in the following sections. Alright. The built-in one uses hpcontext.user. I think we're going to have to customize this because we have our own custom auth provider. So, let's see, implement a custom. Let's do this. Inside Blazor admin, we'll add a custom auth state provider. We'll move this to a new file. That's not letting me do what I want. Get rid of that. I just want you to go to your own file. Man. Okay, fine. Do it the slow way. Add class. Custom auth state provider. Something like that. Custom auth state provider. Yeah, I got it right. Let's see. Need that. I don't think I'm going to use this. I think I'm going to inject my own thing, right? Alright, so where's this thing run? Where's our service? Auth service. The auth service will tell us if I do this parse claims from jot token, that should give me back the role, right? It won't work from the server, or will it? I'm not sure. Alright, so in custom auth state provider, I need to take in auth service, I think. And then once I have that, I can come in here, say var claims equal auth service dot Did it not have that public? This thing's so long. Private. Alright, where's that called? You're not called. So this isn't used. What if I make it public? Then I can try and use it. My confidence in this working is not very high. Parse claims from jot, string jot. I don't have the jot. Where do I get that? Get token. That's an enumerable of claims. So now I can say my identity is new claims identity, and then I can just pass into this the claims, like that. And then I can create the user, and then I can return this. That looks close. Cannot copy things because they're being used. Let's shut this down. Okay, start it back up again. Alright, now I need to tell it to use my custom auth state provider in program.cs. So add scoped custom auth state provider. Maybe that's enough. How will it know to use that one? You gotta do that. Yeah. So when someone asks for this, give it that. Okay. All of that to say that now in app.razor, somewhere in here, now that I know the user, if context user identity is authenticated, if they're not authenticated, redirect them. Else, we do another if in here. If not context.user.isEnroll administrators. I think this is what you were trying to tell me, Shady. Then tell them this. Alright, but otherwise, if they are admin administrators, how do I let them get into this thing? I feel like this is the wrong place for this. They should already know if they're authorized or not. That shouldn't go there. Somewhere on here, I gotta set the authorization rules. So authorize route view. Okay. I've got this. Okay, so theoretically I can use this attribute on what? The list page? That's my main page. So in Blazor admin on list, in here, role, and I have a constant for the role, right? Authorization constants, roles to administrator, there we go. So lost it. Authorization constants dot. You can't find that. Because you don't even have a dependency on that project. Should you? Probably not. But let's try it for now. All that to get a string. And it's authorized, it doesn't know what to do with that either. Authorize attribute can be used. Only use authorize on pages using Radar, right? Add that attribute. You can add a policy. Okay, what do you do when you can't find the attribute? Alright, so I need Asp Net Core Authorization. This one. Which I think I already have. Alright, that's that. Asp Net Core Components Authorization. Yep. And I also already have that in my imports. Got there. Okay, anybody got any ideas? Why can't it find authorize? That's not helpful either. I think it'll be enough to make it work through AppRaiser. Alright, show me how. Because, I mean, you're right. I don't need to do it on a per endpoint basis, because the whole thing should be locked down in AppRaiser. But how do I tell this authorized view, route view, that a certain policy or role should be allowed? Right, there's got to be a way to do that too, right? Do I have to implement authorizing? Alright, found, authorized view, not found, okay. And then we get to not authorized, authorizing. The final piece is to use the authorize attribute on the pages you need to restrict access. Great, okay, let's do that. Attribute, authorize. Pretty sure we just did this. Didn't work. Now it's gonna work. Maybe my syntax. Nope, there it goes. You think there's an authorized tag and then I can do an enroll? But see, that's breaking how that thing is supposed to work. Like, this thing is supposed to already know if you're authorized. If you're not authorized, you end up in this tag. If you are authorized, then it just loads up the stuff. Like, this thing's already taken care of that for me. Where would I do this check to do if enroll? There's no hook for that. you then out here do a check. Context doesn't even work out here. Shady. You follow? Like, there's no way to check it from out here that I can tell. I think the thing I gotta figure out is why that's not a thing. You're saying like that. Authorized tag. Unexpected name authorized. I don't think that's a thing. And authorized isn't either. I don't think that's going to work, Shady. I think the main thing I got to figure out is why my attributes aren't working. Just on the off chance it's a Visual Studio issue, I'm going to restart Visual Studio, but I really don't think that's it. Sure, recover those files. This isn't even the right project. File, recent projects. There we go, that's better. Alright, so let's go back to the list page. Let's see if we can add an attribute. According to this, I should be able to do that. And that should force non-authenticated people not to be able to get to this. Searched for that already. Alright, that's not helpful. Authorize route view, pass in the route data, specify the default layout. That's it. Otherwise, if you're not found, show some other stuff. Alright, so this cascading authentication state has a parameter auth state that's cascading that you can use to get to stuff. So I can figure out who the user is. So then perhaps only show pages the user is authorized to see. Also contains the same cascading parameter with the auth state. Yeah, so this is supposed to be all declarative. So the attribute should handle it for us. I shouldn't have to have any if-then logic. So why is my authorized tag not working? That's the crux of the issue. It's that this thing's not working. Thanks for the follow, Yaron. Now it builds fine. No, sorry, not cleaned fine. Okay, let's try build. Nope. Cannot find authorize. Alright, Shady, you've got this fork, right? So I'm going to commit all this, and tell me if you get the same error. Can you run it right now? Here's my changes. Working on authorization of admin. Commit everything. Shady says, yeah, that doesn't check their role though. Let's sync my change. Nothing in any of these samples shows anything in authorizing except for just some static text to display on the client. There's no work happening there. There's nothing that's going to be returned as a result. Alright, so I just pushed that out. So if anybody else wants to go grab this Ardalis/Blazor branch and see if you get the same error with authorize, because nobody else on the internet seems to have that error. So maybe it's just on my machine. Final piece is to use the authorize attribute, but you need to restrict access. It can only be used if you have the page directive, right? If I get it off of that one, and let's just put it on delete. Delete doesn't have a page directive. I don't think any of these other ones have a page directive. Create doesn't. Details doesn't. Alright, so the only one that I can put it on is list, because that's the only one that has a page. Doesn't work on your machine, exactly. So if it works for everybody else, though, then we're still good, right? Login doesn't have it. Log out doesn't have it. Let's pretend it did. What if you can only log out if you happen to be authorized? Just a little bit weird, but nope, doesn't know about it there either. Alright, authorize is supposed to be in what namespace? The assembly for authorize installed should come with ASE. What is ASE? Base. Okay, yeah, I agree. Ham. Ham. Do I need this? What is this thing? So what have I got? I think I have that. Right. Right, that's the same as that. I've already got it. It looks like I have all the package references I'm supposed to have. Tag a controller with authorized. Do I get an error? Well, the controllers are in a whole separate project. And they already have authorized on some of them, I believe. Yeah, this one's authorized. Peak definition. What namespace are you in? Don't know. Yeah, so authorize works fine on controllers on web. It works fine on controllers in my API also. Alright, there it is. And that's Microsoft Asp Net Core Authorization, I think. So maybe I need that. Yeah, it definitely needs something. But this imports.razor already has this component authorization. But maybe it needs the other one too. That one. Is that all there is to it? Maybe they're right. I don't know if that's the right one, but I got it to turn blue. So roles equal, and then I want it to be this authentication constants, authorization constants. So is that it? Looks like it, yeah, I agree. So the question is why that wasn't already included for me. But okay, I think we might be rolling. Alright, Joe Walker, hi, how's it going? Okay, so if that's working, let's get back to this test then. I haven't had working code in like 20 minutes. We should be able to come in here. We should be able to log in as a demo user, not the admin. Right, log in. We're going to start the other service. Hang on. Start that. Yeah, I agree, ham. I was expecting that was there, but apparently not. You'd think somebody else would have run into that, and Googling should have helped me out on that faster. Okay, so I logged in effectively. Let's do that again. Let's log out, log in, demo user, log in, good. Now if I go to /admin, okay. I'm not authorized to view the list, but it did let me view the whole stinking thing, which I don't really want it to do. So we're getting closer. But in app.razor, you are not authorized. It showed me that. But why did it show me the whole shell? That wasn't expected. Like this is in the main layout. In the main layout, we're going to show this. How do I bounce out of the whole thing? Well, let's go back to that article because it was talking about how to redirect. So here, this was how to redirect. And I could do a redirect to login if they're not authorized. So that's really what I want. Just say redirect to login. So we'll come back in here. Hey, look, I've already got that. Do I want to tell them? Okay, maybe I just need to. If I get rid of this if entirely, then I would just bounce them back to the login. Does that make sense, or do I want to tell them that they're not authorized even though they're logged in? Which is what this is doing. But the only reason I don't like what this is doing is it's still loading the whole Chrome of the whole app. I guess that's alright. Let's just say that's alright. Yep, Shady Nagy, I got the same thing. Jailwalker, I've been looking at clean architecture. Do you think it's worth pulling the logic out of the controllers into use case? You could, yeah, that's fine. For me, I'm mostly moving to using endpoints. I've never done much with the use case objects, honestly. I've read Uncle Bob's Clean Architecture book, but that layer has never really added much value for me. I've always been fine to just go directly from my controller endpoints to my domain model. And that's generally worked fine for me. Having another like use case layer just hasn't added a whole lot of value for me. But you could. Okay, so how awful is this? You come into the admin here, you go to /admin, when you type it correctly. Why is that not loaded? Like, I am logged in. This should say log out. This should say, like, this Chrome is wrong. And this just says I'm not authorized. So that's what's bothering me. Like, I think if we're going to load this side nav Chrome, then it should load it correctly. It shouldn't just load it bogusly and then display this. I feel like maybe this whole thing shouldn't even appear. Maybe. So if I go into the nav menu, this is not working. This auth, for whatever reason. Because they are logged in, but it's still showing login. So what's happening? What's happening here? When I get to this app.razor, right? We cascade authentication state. We do the router. We go into the main layout. Main layout looks like this. Main layout has the auth service. Loads the sidebar, which maybe I could tell not to load if I'm not logged in. Here it says if not auth is logged in, we're going to redirect out to the login page. So on this page at least, after rendering, it knows that we're logged in. I feel like I want the nav menu sidebar to only show up if you're in the admin role. I think there should be a control for that, right? Like an authorized view or something. Authorized view, roles equal, authentication, authorization constants. I have to give it the whole namespace. Perhaps. Like that. Do I have to put it in there? And then that. Hey, Ed Charbonneau is raiding with 30 people. Cool. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. We are playing with Blazor and trying to get authentication and authorization working. This is for the eShopOnWeb application. So if we go out here, this is the eShopOnWeb. You can find it on GitHub. Out here, it's a Microsoft.NET reference app. There's the link. When you run it, it looks like this. You can log in. If you're not an admin, you shouldn't really be able to get to the /admin page, which is the Blazor page. So here's what my admin page looks like right now. And I'm trying to make it so that either this shows the user information correctly, or it doesn't show it at all. But not right now, which is just that it's kind of wonky. So that's what we're playing with. We got about half an hour left to try and get that working. Hit the follow button if you want to see more stuff. I usually stream about the same time that Ed does on Fridays. Occasionally other days. Usually I'm talking about .NET Core stuff. So where we're at right now. Thanks for the follow, Gary, Deflux. Appreciate it. Right now I'm trying to get this authorized view working for this sidebar, and I don't know enough about this thing. Does it have any sub things that it needs, or is it just this simple? Right, if I just wrap it, do that, and actually run this again, is that going to hide that if I'm not an administrator? And more importantly, will it still work if I am an administrator? Alright, so I'm still logged in. We go to /admin. Ooh, nice. Okay, so now it's not there. That's what I want. Thanks for the follow, Bonfree and Barney Ardman. So if I ask people to follow, people actually do. It's amazing. So one neat trick to increase your followers. Okay, that's perfect. That's what I want. This is ugly, but no one should actually go here, right? The only reason I came here is because I typed it in, because I was guessing that that was a thing. If I'm actually an admin, though, that's the trick, is does it still work? So if I log out and come back in now as an admin user, log in, now I should have a menu to get me there, and it should work. But this is still broken. What do we do to break this? That was working before. Actually, this was working before too. So in the course of trying to get auth working, I've broken everything else. Alright, there must be some errors showing up here. Oh, there's some errors. Okay, so unhandled exception, authorization policy provider on authorized route view, no registered service of authorization policy provider. Alright. Par for the course, yeah. Got one thing working and broke everything else. Okay, so I just need to register an authorization policy provider, even though I'm not using authorization policies. I'm just using roles. But that's fine. Let's see. Authorization policy provider. How do I register that? I don't need a custom one. I just want to register one. Okay, how do I set this up to just use the default? In here, in program, I don't have any authorization policy providers, so we'll add this. Is there a namespace for that I need? So hang on, this should be builder dot. Builder services, alright. Authorization policy provider, great. Default, that's what I want. Okay. And apparently that needs to be a capital S. try that. And you need this thing to stop. Cool. Alright. So I've got an API that's running in a separate console, so it locks the files, so Visual Studio can't write to them. So I need to stop it every now and then. But I need this API to be running also when I run the main app. So let's run the main app again. And see what errors we get this time. Alright, so we'll turn on the console so we can see what's going on here. And let's hit the admin. And we still get nothing of type Asp Net Core Authorization Service. Now maybe that's happening server side. And I have to register it server side also, because I have pre-rendering going on. Critical. Need to put it also in web. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Alright, so let's put that also on the web project that's hosting this thing. I'm not sure I necessarily need it here. I definitely need it on the web. So back to the web side, we need to add this authorization service. I'll put it here with my other Blazor things. Let's see. I think that's related to, so I'm going to just add a comment here. Is there Blazor admin required services for pre-rendering? Alright, so then here we need that namespace, which should give us both of those, and let's try it again. Nope. And now it's going to be complaining about that. Yep, thanks, Shady. And I need to fill this thing. Alright, we're in. Hit admin. Still not happy. Same error. Interestingly, it also couldn't load this thing. Got a 404 trying to load this authentication service that I added. There's no registered service of type Asp Net Core Authorization Authorization Service. That's not, okay, that's a different error. We got the provider, now we don't have an Authorization Service. Can it provide a value authorization service for that? Nope. There's authorization policy. How many services do you have to register for this thing to work? Is there like a services.add Blazor authentication thing that I have to add? Like, these ought to just be there for me, I would think. There's another error. It is another error. I'm hoping I'm fixing it. I don't know if I need to put that in the other, in the client code as well. find out in a minute. Authorization Service. Alright, probably I needed to. So let's copy this, go over to here, add it there. Okay, let's try that. Kill some of these old ones. And F12 to start. New error. Rendering component unresolved service of handler provider. What the heck, man? How many of these things do I have to register? There's got to be some helper method that I'm missing. Right? There's no way that Blazor is expecting you to have to register each one of these things piece by piece. This is just getting silly. There were at least 2 more of these whatever things that had defaults that I'm probably going to run into next. Ooh, I need an Authorization Handler context factory, of course. Why didn't I think of that? Is there by chance a default? One of those? Oh, there is. Okay. Does anybody else think this is stupid? Play smart KY. Thanks for watching. I'm trying to bring in all the Blazor auth services one at a time. It's really fun. Okay. Authorization Evaluator. Of course. How could I forget the Authorization Evaluator? Is there a default Authorization Evaluator? There is. Somebody's going to tell me in a minute that there's one helper I could call that would do all these. Do I do one-on-one training? Sure. You can also sign up for DevBetter. Yes, for money. It's cheaper if you want to just sign up for DevBetter, and then it's more of a group coaching thing. But otherwise, you can go to services, Ardalis.com, and just buy a block of remote mentoring hours. Or you can go to devbetter.com and just sign up on a month-to-month basis, and then it's a private spline reticulation factory. Thanks, Tony. Yeah, DevBetter is like a private coaching thing that I have where we're on a private Discord channel and we meet once a week live for Q&A. So, alright, so I think I was in the middle of trying to copy this one over here. Like that. Like that. I'm running out of these default things. I gotta be. Kill that, kill that, kill that. F12. Success, I guess. Thanks for the follow, Kiddick7. Appreciate it. Okay, so authorization failed. Yeah. I feel like we wasted a lot of time on this to get to this point. Authentication, login. So the default thing expects to go there, which is not my login page. But let's go here. Let's log out. Let's log back in. Now I'm an admin. Let's go to admin. Oh, that worked. No, it didn't. Okay, it loads it for a second. Our custom provider. Yeah, where is our custom provider? The Auth service? This thing doesn't implement any of their things. So do we have to create custom, I'm going to fix that name, this auth state provider. Custom auth state provider. Alright. Authentication state. Is that one of the things I did? No, that wasn't one of them. Do we have to implement all these stupid things? Hey, Faceni, how's it going? We gotta get to work on our specification package sometime soon. Alright, how did I manage to totally break auth? It was all because of this thing. I think... Yeah, we were doing everything custom with our auth service that doesn't implement any Blazor auth libraries. And then suddenly when I started using the authorized route view, it integrates with all the Blazor auth pieces, which we then have to implement ourselves. I think that doesn't have enough. This one, Blazor. Where's Blazor auth? You would think auth would be a fundamental, but it's not. Security overview, right? Okay. Authentication state provider. We did that. Okay. Implement a custom. I did that. Expose that. Yeah. That's all working. That's all working. Alright, where do I find out about all these other libraries? Right. I know nothing about Blazor other than its C# code and HTML pages. Yeah, pretty much. There's two kinds. There's server-side rendered Blazor, which is kind of like just regular ASP.NET, where it gets rendered on the server, and then the HTML gets sent down to the client. And then there's Blazor WebAssembly, which really does run in the browser, and gets executed by WebAssembly, which is a JavaScript library. So the nice thing about it is, unlike previous .NET in the browser things that you may recall, like Silverlight, that relied on plugins, this one doesn't rely on a plugin. It's all just JavaScript, so it works everywhere. So that part's pretty cool. Alright, I think what I need to do is implement these things without the defaults and use our auth service. But I don't really know what that looks like. So let's start with this policy provider, because that seemed to be the first one that blew up on us. So I need to implement that. It'd be nice if there were a demo or sample somewhere that I could find. Was it public class custom policy provider implements this interface using that, implement that, get default policy async for an authorization policy. I don't know. I'm not using policies. So return task.from result new authorization policy. Authentication schemes. I don't need any of this. There must be some wrapper. Ficeni, there must be some wrapper which groups all these services. Yeah, I agree with you, Ficeni. There must be. But the docs don't seem to talk about it. So let me just leave this back as not implemented for now. Pretty sure if I wire this up though, it's going to blow up. Alright, here's some Blazor authentication sample projects. That's interesting. Any of these WebAssembly? Authentication with client side. Let's look at that one. Chris Sainty, I know you. I've heard of you. So, what do you got? API authentication state provider. Authentication state provider. That looks familiar. That looks very familiar. Alright. Alright. Blazor WebAssembly. Alright, I gotta go in about 5 minutes. I had this working pretty well, but I don't see getting it back into a working state right this second. I've got to basically sort out how to implement these with custom Auth service. That's my next thing to do. So I'm going to go ahead and just commit this and push it up to my branch. We'll go from there. So we'll get rid of this. I can always add that back later. And then let's go find someone else to raid, because I think I've got to call it a day for today, or at least for this afternoon. Let's see, we're working on custom auth, locking down admin page. Alright. And if this just turns out to be super painful, then maybe I'll drop it and not do this, because the whole point of this was to make it so that when the user was logged in and they logged in here, this stuff was going to make it so that they would not be able to access the list page, and that's just been opening up a whole lot of complexity trying to get this to work with our custom auth, and the docs aren't helping a whole lot on that just yet, so it's not happy. Am I in VS 2019? Yeah, it's VS 2019. There, 16.6.3 Enterprise. Yeah. Alright, sync that. Push that. Everything's broken at the moment, but it's only on my private branch, so that's fine. Shady Naggy, if you have time, are you still with us? You're still there, yeah. If you have time to look at this and try and sort some of that out, that'd be great. If not, I'll try and play with it some tonight or this weekend. And I'm going to go over here. That's not it. Over here. And we're going to push that button to load that. And we're going to find who else is online. So, yeah, I could run a 60-second ad break. I've never done that before. I'm not going to subject that to you now. People. Oh, let's go hit Mark. I like Mark. He's going to be doing C# stuff, probably, as opposed to Clarkio, who's usually doing JavaScript. So, like I said, I got to go. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this Friday. I'll be back next Friday. Keep following the eShopOnWeb repository. There should be an updated version in master with all the stuff working sometime pretty soon. It's supposed to have happened already, so we're a little bit late, but we'll get this all working, and then there'll be a good sample there for hosting client-side Blazor in server-side Asp Net Core Web app, which is the point of this exercise. Alright, so I'm going to pop in and say hi to Mark, and I'll see you guys over there, and have a nice weekend. Counting down. Go say hi to Mark before you leave. Okay, and here we go.